Chechens have declared a jihad or a holy war against Ramzan Kadyrov, Vladimir Putin and Russia. But more about this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's begin by looking at the updates that happened on the map of this war. First of all, it has been reported that this night Russia launched 7 missiles against Mykolaiv. And as a result of these attacks, a humanitarian headquarters was destroyed. And if we zoom into the east of Mykolaiv, we can see that Ukrainians were able to liberate 2 small territories. The first territory that Ukrainians were able to liberate this night is the territory of Andriivka. And the second territory a little bit to the north of this region is Alchine. The next event that happened this night was that Ukrainians once again attacked Antonovka bridge. But according to the advisor of the president of Ukraine, Mikhailo Podolyak, Ukrainians are not planning yet to completely destroy this bridge because they will allow Russians to retreat. Another attack of Ukrainians happened in Skadovka, where another military object of Russians has been destroyed, and most likely this is another military warehouse. But nevertheless, the shelling of Russians in this region still continues. And right here, for example, we can see the anti-missile defense system of Ukrainians in action. Now let's go to Melitopol, where it has been reported that this night Ukrainians were able to destroy another military object of Russians. And if we go a little bit to the east of this territory, we can see that Ukrainians were able to resist Russian attacks next to the city of Vladimirka. And while I'm going to the most active battle zone of this war, the east of Ukraine, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. Alright, so first of all, this night Russians were once again shelling city of Bakhmut. In addition to that, this night Russians also destroyed a civilian school in Kramatorsk. And so as you can see, these two cities remain one of the top priorities targets for Russians at this stage of the war, but they cannot advance closer to them. However, if we go to the south of this region, next to Donetsk region, we can see that Russians were able to advance a little bit next to Marinka. And next, let's go to Lysychansk, where as you can see according to this video, Russians already started repainting the entrance column in the colors of the Russian flag. And I mean, instead of helping the residents of these regions, like obviously Russia promised they would do as soon as they liberate them, the first thing they started doing is to make sure that this is a Russian city. And now, couple more words about Kharkiv region, where this night Russians were shelling this city as well. And most likely all these missiles against Kharkiv come from Belgorod. As you can see right now, not a single side of this conflict is advancing significantly, and it has been perfectly summarized by the military expert Oleg Zhdanov. According to him, what right now both countries are experiencing is the stalemate situation. What he means by that is that at this very moment, Russians are no longer able to advance anywhere across Ukraine simply because they have neither enough manpower nor enough firepower. But the reason why Ukrainian counteroffensive has not started yet, it is because they still don't have enough weapons. And I mean, yes, right now Ukrainians have already plenty of Western weapons, but these weapons are enough to stall the Russian invasion. But in order for Ukrainians to start taking back its territories, they need more weapons. He then also added that most likely, as soon as Ukrainians will be able to liberate Kherson region, their next direction of liberation will be Crimean Peninsula. And this is also when I'm personally expecting that the Crimean bridge will be in serious danger. Because imagine this, if Ukrainian army controls the northern territories of Crimean Peninsula and Russians no longer have this Crimean bridge. All this basically means that the remaining Russians on Crimean Peninsula will be surrounded. And yes, if you want to be among the very first people in the world to know when the Crimean bridge will be attacked, please consider joining my Discord, because this is the place where the news like this are immediately published. In addition to that, we as a community constantly donate money to Ukraine. And so if you want to be a part of this group donation, please make sure to check my Patreon. All the links can be found in the description. Welcome to another episode of ridiculous Russian propaganda. And today let's talk about this independent research of obviously Russian scientists who claim that this low quality and non-white paper is actually much better. So before this, a little bit backstory. As soon as sanctions started hitting Russian economy, several Western companies started leaving Russian market. And among these companies was this company which was selling paper bleach. And so as soon as Russia lost access to this this normal, regular, standard white paper, these Russian scientists started making articles that we don't need this paper, it's actually damaging your eyes. Because whenever you're looking at something bright, like regular, I guess, white paper, your eyes become tired so quick and you start having headaches, which potentially can lead to even migraines. But anyways, as soon as this article has been published, Russian propaganda and media started glorifying this research. They were basically saying that because of these sanctions and because Russia is no longer having access to this simple white paper, this is actually a miracle in disguise. Which is basically like, oh, those Western countries, they wanted to leave us without white paper, but instead we will be the ones with healthy eyes, and you Westerners will always have migraines. Okay, and now let's get serious and talk about this very important news, basically that Chechens announced jihad against Ramzan Kadyrov, Putin and Russia. And the ones who declare this jihad are the sons of Ichkeria, who are also Chechens. If you remember, in the very beginning of this war, one of the funniest videos and pictures were coming from us from Chechens, specifically from Ramzan Kadyrov. He was showing us all these pictures and videos where his Chechen soldiers were fighting against bushes, empty buildings or the sky. But have you noticed that recently we don't hear much from Ramzan Kadyrov? So the whole thing goes like this. We have these sons of Ichkeria who, as soon as this war started, switched the side and, let's say so, joined Ukraine. And these two Chechen groups include Sheikh Mansour Battalion and Jahar Dudayev Battalion. Both of them were the participants of both Chechen wars, and as a result they, let's call it, don't like Russia and Ramzan Kadyrov. The reason why they don't like Russia might be quite understandable, but the reason why they hate Kadyrov, it is because he, as a Chechen man, started supporting Russia. And if you know some history of Russia, in the very past, Russia always had problems with like Tatars and Mongols. These were basically the raiders, and in order for Russia to keep them away from their lands, they had to pay them, let's call them taxes. Which is like you pay them money, give them food and other products, and in return they do not attack your villages and do not kill your people. And to be honest, it kinda feels like exactly what's happening within Russia and Chechnya. What I mean by that is that I have a strong feeling that Putin pays Ramzan Kadyrov to be his friend. And I mean, just take a look at the pictures of the capital of Chechnya, Grozny, just right after the war and right now. And I mean, Russia is obviously very notorious for its corruption, but just imagine how much money was sent and obviously stolen along the way just to restore Grozny until what it is right now. And basically that's what I'm saying. Russia right now pays Chechens to be their friends. And I guess you already see where I'm going, is that as soon as probably Russia stops paying, somehow problems will start appearing. But anyways, back to sons of Ichkeria. As you can already see, they do not like Russia. But just imagine if those people who they thought gonna be their allies, they became the friends with your enemy. And what I'm talking about here is Ramzan Kadyrov with Putin. And so earlier today they released a video where the person with the modified voice was basically announcing jihad against Russia and Ramzan Kadyrov. What gives them the advantage and why it is so serious, it is because they have their own infiltrators both in Russia and in Ramzan Kadyrov's closest surrounding. In addition to presenting first-hand data and intelligence to Ukrainians, these people will also be able to open the second front against Russians. And this will slowly but surely take the attention of Russians away, at least partially. Because as you can already see, Russia is struggling fighting just against one country. And now imagine they'll need to start paying attention and send even more troops to a completely different area. So as a result, what we have at this very moment is that this might seem as something insignificant. But to be honest, if you think about it and dig deeper, this might present a potentially disastrous consequences to Russia. Alright, we're finally here. I apologize for extremely long episode today, and if you made it all the way until this part of the video, you're a true hero. So please consider becoming my channel member. Thank you so much for your attention. Check the links in the description, stay safe, and see you tomorrow.